This is the Big MJ debate. I'm Pez Jax,
And I'm Sure McLachlan.
and we're kicking off the new format by celebrating 10 years of the Escape album. I mean, I say celebrate. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, do you remember when Escape actually came out?
Yes, yes, because I was like 16 and I was in school. So everyone was like, "Oh, Charlotte, how'd you feel when you Michael Jackson?" So yeah, I do remember it. I remember it well. How did you feel when you saw it coming out?
I remember the because obviously we'd had Michael, hadn't we? And I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. And then I remember being in Blackfriars in London, and it came up on Twitter that it had been on the news. New Michael Jackson album, and obviously it was this image, and it said new Michael Jackson album coming. And I was like tweeting or trying to post on Facebook at the same time. But I'd written Escape with an E, and then I was like, oh wait, no, they're doing it with an X. It was all kind of like jumbled up. Um, and it was really exciting at the time. And I remember seeing the artwork and thinking, yeah, actually, I like that. What did you think? Like, what did you think of this? Because I know this divided fans completely.
Right, so here we go. I'm ready to be berated, right? And any Scotland fans will understand this. So the album is called Escape with an X. We have an entertainment complex over at Braehead called Escape, but it was pronounced Escape because it's with an X. So I was like, oh my god, Michael and Braehead are the same. It
I
has
don't
like a
know.
cinema, it's got indoor skiing. I thought this is not his vibe. Um, and then the artwork, I wasn't crazy on it. I I don't know. It felt very. I don't know if this is going to sound daft, but there's very Michael when he was here and posthumous Michael. Like you can tell he
Mm.
wasn't involved in this cover, and I felt like, oh, he was not involved in this cover.
I mean, that's how I feel about the Michael album because I hate that cover with that
Good.
ugly ass,
I
that
prefer it.
ugly ass, no, ugly ass cover with that ugly, ugly, ugly cover. Horrible painting.
Why?
Horrible, horrible. I
Oh,
just,
enough.
no, not enough. It was horrible. And everything like, I mean, that just, whenever I think of that whole era and all the disaster that happened with those songs and everything, I just think of that cover. It's just, nah. Greatest hits, maybe I'll allow it. But his body looks like it's made out of some metal trunk. It's
Oh my
no.
god. This cover compared to the Michael album, I'll
Yeah.
take the Michael album cover any day. Not the content of the Michael album because that was trash. This is nah, not my thing. Not my thing.
I liked it because I thought it was well. I mean, there was if you remember the very first version that came out, I had it upstairs. Um, he had more curly hair. The hair was curlier, and
Mm-hmm.
then they kind of quickly edited it. The thing, obviously, we know that this cover was made up of different pictures. I like the whole kind of like space ring. I'm not sure about the hair itself. It looks like it's sort of slipping. But I liked it. I thought it was a cool concept. I thought it was something different. And as you know, when we did our little video, Seb wore the same headdress. So
Yes, he did. He did. I have got to say, I like see when you can see eyes up. I think that's
hmm
really cool. I like that a lot. It's the whole he looks like Saturn. I'm just not for it with the ring around. I'm just this isn't my thing. And also, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I prefer the gold cover.
Um, I'm not sure to be honest. I think the where the album cover doesn't work is he's obviously coming through like a space portal or wormhole or whatever. But like below the ring, kind of what you were saying, below the ring doesn't quite work because technically you shouldn't see any of that. If he's coming through something, you shouldn't see everything underneath it, right?
Mm.
Or everything underneath the ring should be like completely blacked out. Maybe if it was completely black and all you got was the ring with his head poking through, maybe that might be slightly different.
I just think the silver outfit with the silver cover is too silver. I think the gold is a nice contrast. But
Hmm.
what do I know?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you're putting together a posthumous album, how do you encapsulate all the different eras in one look?
I know album cover. I can't believe
No.
you're such a hater on that.
I'm such a hater on that because firstly, there was things that had to be changed on it because it was so damn ugly.
Oh
Secondly,
my God.
they released that cheap ass book that was then like 400 quid and it was literally made out of paper. Um, Thirdly, I just felt for 2010 to have kind of Thriller era Michael on the cover. And then most of like I don't know. I think it's really hard when they do posthumous albums with fans. It's hard because we know the eras the songs are meant to come from. So when I hear
I
"Loving
know.
You," I see bad Michael. I see bad era Michael. I can't see later era Michael. I see bad. When I hear "Love Never Felt So Good," I see Thriller era Michael. I can't see anything else. So when they're all on the same album and they're presented like it's new, for me as a fan, I kind of feel that was kind of how I felt about the Michael album as well. Like when you hear "Much Too Soon." And you kind of be like, oh God, of that song. It doesn't work with me alongside like Hollywood Tonight because I can hear the difference in his voice matured, that you could hear the aging in his voice between different songs. And so when they're
Yeah.
put together, like if you take Invincible, for example, his voice had matured, but it sounded consistent pretty much throughout.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the same with Bad, and the same with Thriller. Like he had the same sounding voice. But then when you get the Escape album, and it's all the different eras of his voice, like Loving You
Yeah.
next Blue Gangster, it really it doesn't work for me. He's not one of those artists that's had the same voice throughout.
No, he's definitely not. He's definitely not. And I do see what you mean, but I didn't really. It's only certain songs like Love Never Felt So Good I can really tell. Whereas like other ones, I don't know, like Do You Know We Were Children or I Can't Place That.
When Escape first came out, I remember it because we held the launch event in London. So
Hmm.
the estate said we're running a competition where you can win like a record company plaque. So fan clubs were sent the artwork, and we were told you got to come up with a concept to promote the album in order to win the plaque. So I said to the guys, like, why just do one thing? Let's do three. So we did a special edition magazine. We did the official launch event with Sony and HMB, which I financed. Thanks, guys. And we did our little escape promo video. And
Hmm.
then it took the estate a year. They just didn't mention it ever again. And it was only when we sort of pestered them was like, well, who won then? Who won then? Who won then?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, this fan club won. And I'm not kidding. Other fan clubs emailed us and was like, you guys should have won.
I remember that video because I watched it before I knew you. And you were all running about London in your hoodies.
That video, honestly, was exhausting.
Well, I loved that video and I watched it before I even knew you. So there was
Uh,
an invisible string right there.
but it was like, and then we did the launch at HMV, which was mad because we pulled that together really quickly. Like, I went to a meeting with HMV and they were like, we're going to put the album out, and that's kind of like, is that it? So then I had like big banners done. I went to Sony and said, can we produce these postcards with you, like art cards? And they said yes and gave their logo and stuff. And we produced those. So everyone who bought the album on the launch day got a pair of free official art cards, which was nice.
Nice.
And it was great. Like we had an impersonator come down, and like got a crowd outside, and we're promoting it. And it was so nice to feel part of an album launch because I went to the Michael album launch and that was, I don't know, I hadn't heard anything on it. I hadn't listened to it, and it was just a bit. It was cold. It was December, I think. It was like November, December. It was
Yeah,
cold.
it was.
I reckon we should dig into the tracks because there's only eight because we were starved. Um, but let's get going.
Right. So, first track, Love Never Felt So Good. Are you team remix or original for Love Never Felt So Good?
Right, so I'm not going to make anything easy today. Oh, this is difficult because I have affiliation with the original. I like the remix, but I prefer the beat on the Justin Timberlake duet.
Okay. Okay.
Um, with the intro bit.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
prefer
I love that.
that. I'll never forget Jennifer Batten saying it sounded like a merry-go-round. The
Oh
remix.
my God.
um, so I'm gonna say Team Remix. I'm sorry.
like you.
It's not like me. And actually, when Escape came out in the magazine we did, we said whether we were team remix or team original. So I'm going to have to check what I said then.
Oh, your
Uh,
matured opinion may have changed.
but I think I am team remix. What about
Me
you?
too. Me too. I am team remix now. I do love the original. Love Never Felt So Good. I love it. But the remix version with Justin Timberlake is almost nostalgic for me now because when that first came out, it was the first time that because obviously I was 11 Michael when Michael died, so I never really remember a new song coming out and being in the charts. And Love
Yeah.
Never Felt So Good was the first time that happened for me. And hearing a new Michael song on the radio and people were talking about it and it was on the music channels, I honestly loved that moment. I mean, it's sad that that was the first song I experienced that with, but
I must say, like the Justin Timberlake thing on reflection, 10 years later, um, I was never really for him being on the video, on the song. I just felt it turns out I like when we looked into it at the time, he was a Branca client, so quelle surprise. Um, but of all the people, I probably wouldn't have put Justin Timberlake on that.
who
Um,
who would you have preferred?
See, a lot of people said Usher because they wheeled Usher out for
I'm
the
sorry, I'm
performance.
drawing the line. I am drawing the line at any more Usher and Michael. We've had it.
Well,
Pack this in.
well, not me. I didn't say that, but I said a lot of people said Usher. But I think it should have been a woman. I think it would have made more sense to be a woman and a man kind of singing because Michael was straight, and I think it would have made more sense to kind of be almost call and response. Um, I would have said Beyonce. I probably would have said Beyonce.
Well, that's I mean, for someone that doesn't like Beyonce, that's good for you. But
Yeah.
oh sorry, you go.
No, I was gonna say, oh, here we go. Like, oh, he doesn't like Beyonce. It's like it's not as shallow as that, but
No.
trying
We
to get
have
me
different
dragged.
no, to be honest, I actually disagree. I think Justin Timberlake at the time was a good person to be on the record with Michael. At that time he was in his Mirrors era. So he was quite big at that stage again. He was doing the whole 2020 experience stuff back then.
Yeah,
Um and he was kind of having a resurgence. And obviously him and Michael had performed together before at Madison Square Garden and stuff. So I felt like it was an appropriate collab and I enjoyed it. But I was a big Justin Timberlake fan at the time.
but that said, the video was utter trash.
Oh, I thought it was
Oh,
cute.
stop! No, stop! And I'll tell you for why. Because firstly, you look proper offended.
No, because I'm like, what's to be angry about, John?
Right. First and foremost. First and foremost, the video sets are like we see at the immersive experiences now. So, we've not really. If you're going to do a music video for Michael Jackson, they kind of need to be better than a set that a fan's going to walk on. I'm so tired of this. Like, let's have loads of different people dancing along to Michael and pulling his moves and throwing a shot. It's boring. It was the same for Hold My Hand. It was the same for Hollywood Tonight. It's like, you must be able to come up with more. Well, actually, I say that, but then we've got a place with no name, so we'll get to that because
I know
I
you.
just and it was another one of those instances where the estate, and we've said this, we spoke about this at King Mention, put Michael in the background. Justin
They did.
Timberlake is front and center singing into the camera, and Michael's on like blurry screens in the background. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and they are using the same like 5 clips that they always use when they insert Michael in a video. But I liked the video. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was fun. It all plays into this. Now I look back with nostalgia. I'm like, oh, what a cute time in my life.
Okay, well, moving on to number two of the cutest time in your life.
Okay, Chicago.
Boom, 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 boom. Uh,
Original Chicago or remix Chicago?
can't pick. Can't
You
pick.
can't pick.
I can't pick, and I'll tell you why. Because they're both brilliant. And I think, do you know what it is? With Chicago, it's one of two songs out of the eight that we'd never heard of or hadn't leaked or hadn't come out in some form. So it was entirely new to me, and hearing it, I was like, I love both. And then I hear Tarrell's version that was made for the Michael album, and I love that as well.
Well, as we know, I don't really listen to leaks. So I hadn't, it's not that I've explained before why I don't, but at the time I had not heard any of this. So I would always go for Remix Chicago. And the only reason for that is, in comparison, I think the original Chicago is too slow. So I like the upbeat remix version. And I do genuinely love both, but the remix just kind of overpowers for me.
The only thing I think that I probably don't like about Chicago, and this is
Mm-hmm.
a really, and this is nothing to do with Michael, um, is the title. It's not called Chicago. It's called She Was Loving Me.
Oh
And
no, I disagree. I think Chicago's a better title.
but LA Reid changed it to Chicago because he mentions it once, literally in the opening line. And because of that change is why we never got Chicago 1945. Because when Steve Pecoro called, when Sony called him and asked him, "Do you have any songs we don't have?" And he said, "I've got Chicago 1945." They said, "Oh, we've got that," thinking of Chicago on Escape. So that's
Ah.
why we never got it because Sony thought they had it because freaking LA Reid changed the title of She Was Loving Me. And it's kind of like, I know we're remixing the album and I can make my peace with that, but don't go changing the name. Like if Michael left it as She Was Loving Me, that's what it is.
Mm, I feel like She Was Loving Me is a very Michael name for the song that I think
Exactly.
Chicago. No, Chicago's short, it's snappy. That's what I like. It doesn't. She Was Loving Me. I'm
But
over
what
here.
but what relevance does the song have to Chicago? It's set literally, I
He
met her on the
literally, yeah, he met her on the way. There's your
yeah,
relevance.
on the way. He didn't meet her in Chicago. He didn't say I met her in Chicago. He said I met her
Well,
on the way.
she could have been going to Chicago, and then they went to Chicago together. You don't know the rest of the story.
Well, they never say it in the song, do they? They just
Well, they don't
say,
not
I
say it.
met her on the way to Chicago. Bus could have broken down. Look at what happened in Hollywood
Well, they
tonight.
never said I met her on the way to Chicago, but she wasn't going to Chicago, and neither was I. So we're just going to have to make peace with the fact that we've both got different endings
I
of the
wish I could have
story.
made I wish I could have made a better point on this, but I don't know my US states. Or like I don't know what comes before
Oh,
Chicago.
no chance. I have no idea.
No, there'd be me going like maybe they stopped in Utah, which I know is up there.
The oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the thing about Chicago that's actually been really cool recently is it's went viral on TikTok.
As it should.
Everyone loves Chicago. They do the sped up version, they do the slow down version. Everyone loves Chicago. It's like the new generation have discovered it.
Okay, track three.
Loving you, loving you. Original or remix? Don't say
Uh,
the wrong thing.
again, can't pick. Can't pick
Well,
because
you're
it's
gonna
the
have to.
excuse you. It's the only other song, as I mentioned, there were two, Chicago and Loving You, that we'd never heard, and Loving You was the other one, so it was totally new to me. And it's the reason I can't pick is because the original version actually makes me feel quite sad, like when you hear the intro,
Aww.
whereas the new version is kind of cool. And
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, this is the brilliance of Michael that one song can give you two different emotions. It's the same with what we were just saying about Chicago, that one song can give you two different concepts and two different feelings. And that's why I love Loving You. Even like the tape warp at the beginning, I love that they left that in.
Loving you. I am team remix 100%. And
Right.
for the same reason, because after I heard the kind of cool version of the remix as opposed to the sad isn't the right word, it's just a bit, I don't know how to describe the original, but in comparison, I think the remix is happier. And
Yeah. Yeah, I
that's why
think
I love
I
the
agree.
remix.
Although it's got that bloody annoying rolling hi-hat sound.
Oh no, I like that.
I know you do that because that's your kind of style, isn't it? No, but like you love a bit of Hoochie Mama music, and
Oh yeah.
Hoochie Mama songs have that kind of like sounding.
Ted
That's
hates a trap beat. He hates, and I'm like, oh
do,
yeah.
do you know why I hate a trap beat? Because one, it's lazy, and two, everybody's doing it. And when everyone is doing it, it's boring because you'll go to a club and you'll just hear the same, basically the same sound again and again and again, and it's boring. Um, that's why
I
I don't
can
like it.
I can get on board with all the trap beats. I like it. Make it your own. Blow me away.
So Loving You was meant to be the third single, and there was a promo for it. I've got a promo CD somewhere. Um, but it just never came. But then again, like A Place With No Name came 6 months after the album
Mhm.
dropped. And this was classic, just kind of a state of suddenly giving up. Um, and I don't know if Loving You would have been a hit as a single.
It's I don't think non-fans would gel with it
Mm,
personally. I think fans love it. I think in terms of actually Michael's lyricism on Loving You, I think it's great. It's one of my favourites. Um and my favourite part of the song, I have a really niche favourite part of the song, but see at the end where he's like, always on my mind. I love the way he sings that. That's my
yeah, and
favourite part.
I love the like the heavy chords on
Mm-hmm.
the remix version. That I do really like. Track
Right.
four.
A Place with No Name.
June.
Team remix, team original.
This is
Don't say
where
you
it's
can't
hard.
pick again. Don't say you can't pick again.
I'm come back to me.
Okay, well, okay. For me, this is probably my hardest to choose if I'm team remix or team original or not. Um, I think the vibe changes. Again, it changes the vibe of the song. The original has a different vibe to the remix, I
Yes,
think.
yeah. No,
Ah,
completely.
and I know that this is going to sound kind of backwards considering the original is the original, but I actually feel the remix is more like something Michael would have done.
At, do you mean at the time when it was released for Escape? Like, do
I
you
don't
think that's where his sound was going as such?
I don't think it was where it was going, but I think it's hard for anyone to decide where it was going considering he was not here. I feel like A Place with No Name fits very well into a Michael sound. Like A Place with No Name to me sounds like late 80s, early 90s Michael. And I feel like
Really?
yeah, you're do you honestly not think A Place with No Name would fit on Bad or Dangerous?
No.
Oh, where do you put it?
Like when it was recorded, like 99, 98, 99.
No,
I
I
don't
think
it wouldn't fit on Invincible. But it was that whole era where there was that rumor of that album that was going to be called Angel and all that sort of
yeah.
stuff. And it was around that sort of time when the original She Was Loving Me was recorded. Um, and I don't know, I think it's hard because the original is like nothing Michael had done before. He hadn't really done that
Yeah.
kind of acoustic. But I think I will say Team Remix purely because the original is obviously a play on A Horse with No Name.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the original. Michael's original is very similar in terms of sound and style to A Horse with No Name. So purely for that reason, I'll say the remix.
And I know that you have beef with the lyrics of this song. Can you tell us why?
I do. Oh, I
Please flip
do.
out.
Yeah, no, I totally do. It doesn't make any fucking sense. A place without no name. But that doesn't make any sense. It would be a place without a name or a place with no name. You don't say a place without no name.
Still a fab song though.
Oh, look, it's like top. It's one of the top on Escape. So, and I think Stargate. I know he had conversations with Stargate about his comeback album, and I really like their sound. I've always liked their vibe. I think they would have, like you say, it was a perfect sound for where Michael could have
Mhm.
gone. Um, I remember somebody saying to me, "Oh, it sounds like Leave Me Alone," and I was like, "Yeah, I get that."
How?
Listen to the remix. It is literally like Leave Me Alone, just in a different key.
Yeah, actually, that's pure true. So I was right. It does fit on bad.
Not the
Yeah,
remix. The remix would have fit on bad.
it would.
Anyway.
And we got a video for this song.
Well, I mean, for what that was worth.
If this video has one hater, it is Pez Jax. If this video has no haters, Pez is dead.
Yeah, to be fair, it has a lot of haters. It was the first video that I remember to ever stream on Twitter.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's right.
And that was a huge anti-freaking climax. Like, nobody even cared. Didn't it play in Times Square as well? And nobody cared.
I
And then
cared. I was there. Woo!
I was there for the premiere, but then the whole like, oh, we're going to use unseen in the closet footage. I'm like, here we go. This is it. In the closet.
Yeah.
Everyone loves in the closet. The slick back hair, the desert. Here we go. And then it's like, was that it? Couple of shots of him with a Windows Movie Maker filter over the top, and that rain coming down. It was horrible. It was a horrible.
It wasn't.
It
horrible.
was. I look after this. After we'd finished filming, go watch it. It was.
I will,
crap.
and I'll eat it up.
It was crap. It's not good enough. This is the one area, like, well, many areas, but when it comes to Michael's artistry, the one thing the estate haven't found a good niche for is the videos. They haven't.
No, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But I felt like literally, let's go 1, 2 songs back when you said, can we do something else apart from dancing and singing? There we have it.
No, we didn't have it. It was just two people dancing and singing in the studio and swinging around.
Oh, I liked it. I thought
with a big. No, it was crap.
That was my vibe. I liked that video and I love it now. And guess what? I will watch it after we stop recording.
Please do. Please do.
And I'll love it
again. It's okay to be wrong, which you are. But I think the funniest thing to come out of A Place with No Name, bar the video and everything else, was that ridiculous competition that the estate came up with.
It never really got anywhere, but I think we've all moved on.
I mean, that was really the only kind of campaign to come out of the album, and it was crap.
That leads us on nicely to our track 5.
5.
Slave to the Rhythm. Oh no, here we go.
Original.
Me too, but is it for the same reason?
Well, you don't like Slave to the Rhythm.
I am not Slave's biggest fan at all.
I prefer the 2010 version that leaked. Because it had more dance to it. Maybe by 2014 it was probably a little dated, and I imagine even today it would sound like, I like listening to it, but I think would it work if it was released now? No. Tricky Stewart's sound was very much for that time. But the new version, tosh, didn't like it.
I think I've said this before. What ruined Slave to the Rhythm for me was the hologram performance.
We're getting there.
People forget that the hologram performance was not just a hologram performance. That was it the VMAs?
It was or American Music Awards. It was one of them, wasn't it?
One of the two. And if you were on Twitter that night, they were acting as if Michael was there to perform. They reserved a seat for him in the audience. They were saying, we're going to have a performance from Michael Jackson. It wasn't from the estate of Michael Jackson. It was from Michael Jackson. Like, they acted as if he was there.
Yeah.
So we are hyped. We are like, oh my God, what is this going to be? I can't remember if we knew it was a hologram or not.
Well, it had been touted around as a hologram by the fans. And then the estate kind of, I can't remember if it was before the show or after it, but they were like, we never said it was a hologram. And it's kind of like, yeah, but you didn't say it wasn't either, did you? You let that run.
And at the time, even hearing a hologram was exciting because at the time, it was maybe a couple of years before, and they did a 2-pack hologram at Coachella, and that was amazing. That was so realistic. I don't know what the 2-pack fans have to say about that, but I thought that was an example of a great hologram.
Yeah.
So to think that Michael was going to have one, we were through the roof. Then that happens.
Let's do the hologram before we do the song, because I was just thinking, shall
Okay.
I go to the song and then build up to the hologram? But no, I'm going to drag the hologram or whatever it was. Like, yes, you're right. They really hyped it up like they like you said, they kept a seat for him and everything. And it's like the Death Hoax crew went nuts.
Oh my
Like,
God, yes.
this
They were
is
like,
it. This is it. He's coming back. It's like, oh, have a day off, Pearl. Um, but it I remember watching it. It might have been the next day. I can't remember. And I just was like, right, firstly, I know why they had to do it, but I was like, Michael would never worn gold jacket and red trousers. So
no,
let's
no.
just rule that out. Secondly, why have you tried to go dangerous era look? Again, this is the issue I have that it's like this was 2014. It should have looked as close to he did in 2009, which was his
Yeah,
last appearance, not how he looked. Like, why not then just drag a Thriller era Michael out? Like, it doesn't
and do
work.
that. Oh.
Right, that fucking shitty dance break, which is
That,
crap.
which had dances that he never did,
Right,
moves that
dance
he never
steps he
did.
never did. And then the toes with a point. I was like, Michael never did that.
And it didn't look like his face either. Let's be
No.
honest. It didn't look like him. I did always wonder though if the people who were in the audience saw something different to what we did, because they all seemed to love it.
Oh, people were crying and stuff, and I'm like, calm down. Like,
Online, no one was feeling it. No one
no.
liked that.
If I remember rightly, that was meant to be the launch. So Slave to the Rhythm was meant to be a single, with the
Mm-hmm.
hologram was meant to be the launch for the Sony Xperia mobile phone. And the hologram was meant to come to Germany after that performance and have a
Right?
European debut with that song. And that was going to be the European single. And because it had such a what the hell is this after the award show, that's why it never came. And if you remember, the Xperia had loads of delays. There was all these arguments with the estate. You remember when somebody hacked Sony and leaked all the emails online?
Yes.
There was all the
Yes.
correspondence about Escape and Xperia with
Mm-hmm.
Branca and Sony, and it was like how they were arguing over the fact that it hadn't been released and Slave was
Yeah.
meant to be the single.
Yeah.
And I got one of the stands from one of the phone shops. It was like hearing is believing,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't make any sense either to me. Um, and yeah, Slave was meant to be this big campaign in Europe, and it just didn't happen. Interestingly, and I will say this, and I'll probably get dragged for it, they used the same technology in MJ1 um, for one song, and it's done really well.
But then that pisses me off though, because I'm like, why could we not do it well?
I think the way it's used in MJ1 is more the essence of.
Okay.
Whereas, so I don't want to spoil it, but it's been 10 years. Like I won't tell you which song, but like Michael dances and then turns into like pixie dust and lands somewhere else and starts dancing. And it's the essence of it is really nice. Whereas with Slave, I feel like they were trying to present it as Michael, as if it's like
Okay.
Michael's back. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
that's what they did, and I feel like it was I don't want to say it was a silly route to go down, because I
I
actually quite
do,
like.
I do. I want to say
No,
that. Yeah.
but you got to experience that. I didn't.
What do you mean?
You experienced like him being at awards shows and the excitement of being there. So for him, just even seeing a seat reserved with his name on it, I was like, oh my God, this is really emotional.
Yeah, I get that. I think this has always played into my, and we probably need to do a whole episode on this. Again,
Mm-hmm.
what we discussed at Convention is this idea of the estate are forever looking for ways to replace him with
Yeah,
something or somebody
yeah.
else. They, there are elements of what they do that have been good. I
Mm-hmm.
can't knock it. Like a Bad 25, I will always say how good that was. I love MJ1. As everybody knows, I bang on about it all the time. But everything they do is how can we recreate Michael in a new
Yeah.
form? And I fucking hate that because instead of looking at him and his art, they're always trying to look at something else to make him again. So,
Mm-hmm.
if we look at the kind of the trajectory, well, firstly, the Michael album. So they had an impersonator come and sing songs thinking they could pass it off as him and then hoping that they could push out more. Then we had the hologram, which is like, okay, well, we don't have him anymore, but here's a better version of him. And I guarantee you, if people had loved it, we'd have had a hologram show
Yeah.
by now, like that
Yeah.
awful Whitney one. Um, the musical, it's like another version of him. The biopic, another version of him. And it's constantly trying to push somebody else forward as Michael instead of Mike or something, I should say, instead of Michael himself. And well, and now it's John Branca, isn't it? Michael
Oh
Jackson
yeah.
stories on TikTok and Instagram, as told by John Branca. And it's constantly this like need to put. I feel like they almost feel like because we don't have him, we still need a we still need a figurehead
Like a
to
physical,
yeah. When actually you don't,
no, you don't.
because the Elvis estate have managed it for decades. Freddie Mercury estate, people are doing it.
Yeah, I feel like they don't understand that for Michael to be successful, we don't actually need a physical entity.
Yeah,
We don't need someone to stand on a stage and be him or to try and replace him. We don't need a physical. Everyone knows
yeah,
Michael.
but
And
it's
just because he doesn't exist in physical form anymore doesn't mean we need to try and replace that.
and yeah. So sorry on a long tangent. I just feel like the hologram was a reflection of that.
Yes, which is why I will always choose the original. Because the remix, to be honest, as I said, I'm not a big fan of the song, but I'm certainly not a big fan of the song after the hologram. So
Yeah,
original will always be it for me.
original, and I love that dramatic ball and chain drag at the beginning. It's like
Oh,
that's
see,
so
I'm
no, but that like I laugh at it because it's so MJ.
not my thing, but okay.
Okay, next song.
Right, do you know where your children are? Here he goes. We're not even in it yet, and he's rolling his eye.
I don't like, don't like, don't like.
Remix or
If I had to,
original?
well, I mean, I don't like the song, but the remix can literally burn in a blaze of hell because it's so
Oh,
bad.
away
It's
you go.
where it's so bad. It's so bad.
It's not.
Well, it is. I mean, it's just that. Oh, stop! Like, why are we
No, I
trying to
love
sound
it
like a? Why are we trying to sound like a car engine starting up?
because that
It. Listen, you are the queen at the moment. We've been doing this challenge offline where
we have.
Charlotte and I send each other a song every day. So, well, we pick a song. So I am representing Madonna, Charlotte's representing Taylor Swift, and we choose a song and we send each other the song each day because we're trying to learn more about the catalogue that of an artist that our friend likes and we're not
Yeah.
familiar with. So Charlotte's favorite line at the moment is I liked it, but it didn't really go anywhere. That is Do You Know Where Your Children Are? Doesn't go anywhere. That beat, once the beat, and in the documentary where LA reads out, Michael would eat this beat up, or someone's saying it, Michael would eat this beat up. I'm like, yeah, for the intro, but then it goes nowhere.
Well, we're
Now,
going to have very, very different opinions on this because I'll tell you this right now. When Escape came out, that was my favourite song on the album.
well, you were 16, so, maturity has now come and graced you
But,
with its
but
presence.
I still like it. It's not a bad song. It's certainly not as bad as you think it is because, I mean, you'd pick Slave to the Rhythm over this
Original, yeah.
or remix.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, well, some people are just fucked in the head. No, I'm way more on board with the remix. But I like them both, even though
Mm,
you hate them both.
I
Whatever.
just, I just don't, I just don't, I
Do you
just
not
don't.
even like the message?
The message, I think, it was mentioned in a couple of press releases when Escape came out, and then it's just been lost. I think over the years, people should look back to that song
Mm-hmm.
because of what he's talking about and the story he's telling. I think that's been lost on a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
particularly when Michael is talking about that particular subject matter. So I like that he has a message there. But could I do without it in my life? Absolutely.
Well, I feel that was really harsh.
Well,
Could
you
I?
can feel it.
No, there's lots of songs that I could be doing without in my life. Half the fucking bad vault I could be doing without in my life.
Well, we'll
But
just we'll just dump to you
this
know each
isn't
other
about
those.
this.
Okay, so next song.
Blue gangster.
Tune, 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 tune. Original, all day, every day, over the hill and back again. That original is perfection. What Timberland did to that? No. Nope.
Oh no, I'm team
No.
remix. Team
Mm,
remix.
no.
That
It
is so Michael.
no, it's not. That's why I
Oh no.
no, no. Why it's not is because every Michael's song is a beat. When Michael's doing a dance track,
Uh-huh.
there's a beat, and when you got the original, you got that dun 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 dun, and then Timbaland strips it out and puts strings in.
Better.
No, Michael's had a heartbeat. It had a pulse. It was something he could move to.
No, I
Timbaland,
don't like that.
we don't have to, but it's literally like. But if you think of like Smooth Criminal or Moonwalker, when he's like running in the shadows, he's looking around the walls, that is gangster. That's like the sinister vibe. He's like on a
Yeah, but he's
chase.
not doing that to do. What's he doing
Yes,
to
he
that?
is. Yeah, he is.
Marching.
No.
I just
And
I can't see that.
well, I can't help the blind, but um, it's just, Timberland ripped the heart out of that song.
No, he didn't.
Well, he did. So,
Okay, well, sometimes as you say, it's okay to be wrong, and in this
which
case,
you are.
you're certainly wrong. I think the remix is so much more Michael than the original. I hate it. I'm like, where are we going with this?
Well, at least we have a journey to take, kind of like the Timberland version, which is just like, it's like, where
What
we
you
going,
gonna
mate?
do? Cause I'm gonna
No,
get you.
no, it doesn't even work with the instrumentation. It's overpowering. It's
Well,
no,
I suppose the comments will decide who's right in this, and they're gonna choose me.
I don't think they will, but thanks.
They probably
Um,
won't. They definitely won't. To be fair, Timberland definitely had a golden era where everything he touched, 2007,
yeah,
2008,
yeah,
9, 10, everything he touched turned to gold. He
yeah.
was so good at what he did.
2014, he was over the hill. It was like, why have we gone and dug him back up? Like when he was doing Shock Value and stuff in
Mm-hmm.
2007, and he did like Release, he did a load of stuff with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Obviously, he had all the late 90s stuff with Missy Elliott. That was brilliant. And then like by the time we got to Escape, it was like no one's checking for Timberland anymore.
I think I am team remix for most of the songs. And I like what Timberland did with a lot of them. I think maybe it's just a difference in opinion and that's all.
Do you think, actually, no, actually, I will ask you now. Do you think that's to do, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, do you think
No,
that's to do with your age? That
probably.
because you were younger and you were looking like you would naturally gravitate, I would assume, to a sound that was current.
Yeah, I think
Whereas
so.
I would say, like, being slightly older at the time, I wanted classic MJ and I was looking for sounds that sound like Michael Jackson's work. Whereas if you're younger, you might be looking for something that's like in the charts because everything else you're
Yeah,
listening to sounds that.
I do think that, to be honest, I do. How old were you when Escape came out?
What were we 10 years ago? 26.
Right, so I was 26, so I was nearly about the age that I am now. Probably if Escape came out now, I would have a different opinion on it simply because yes, I do have an extra 10 years on me, and then I feel like I would be able to appreciate Michael's true sound more.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I think it does have something to do with it, to be honest, because I was looking for things that sounded current at the time. That being said, even now those remixes sound dated.
They dated so quickly.
Yeah.
Um, let's do the last song and then we'll get to that. Is it,
Okay.
wait, we have got one more song left, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, our last song, title track, Escape, Team Remix, Team Original.
I'm going to start this statement by saying I am a huge Rodney Jerkins fan. I met Rodney Jerkins and I was extremely starstruck. Um, most of the work that Rodney did in the early 2000s, I own on CD, like Brandy, Monica, Destiny's Child. I think Rodney is an absolute genius. However, what he did to that remix of Escape is nothing short of appalling.
I am on a rare occasion I am Team Original here. Um and I'm the same as you. Like some of Rodney Jerkins' stuff is genuinely what I would call my taste in music. His R&B sounds are
Yeah.
exactly what I like. But Escape's original for me totally trumps the remix
Yeah,
100 times over.
it was hot. I didn't. I remember hearing that and being like, no, because the original is so beloved by the fans, which is why. I mean, you don't need to ask anybody. That's why they called the album Escape, because that
Yeah.
song is so beloved by the fans that it was almost untouchable in a way.
And again, I can't get Xscape Bray Head out my head. We will insert a picture of it, but which is now called Excite.
Oh,
But
they
at the
just switched
time,
it.
it was called Xscape.
So that concludes our rundown of the track list.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
quite a division in opinion. I think looking at the album as a whole, I genuinely don't know anyone. I don't know anyone that goes back to Escape and still listens to it today. I really
No, I do.
feel. Sorry, I was just going to say that I feel like that's kind of typical of his posthumous work. That most people don't revisit it. Like I don't even remember the last time listening to the songs off Thriller 40.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll be honest. Anything really posthumous, when I think about Michael's body of work, I almost forget they're there.
yeah, it's true, which is strange because we've had so many songs since he
Yeah,
passed away, we've been
yeah, we
given
have.
that to just not really include them. Um, but I think it's because it's got that element of detachment to it. You know, Michael doesn't
Yeah,
feel like he's a part of it, so it doesn't feel um like part of the catalogue. But I don't know anybody that goes back to Escape 10 years later and is like repping for that album.
no, I don't know many Escape fans, like crazy, crazy Escape fans at all. So, Pez, we are going to do pick one or kick one. So, I have all the songs in this pot,
Okay.
and we're going to pick two, and whatever two come out, you're going to have to pick one and kick one.
Okay.
So, obviously, we know all of these songs have an original and a remix. I want you to play this as if you are counting only your favourites. So, if that means that you've got remix, Escape, but original, Do You Know Where Your Children Are, then just play it as your favourites.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
So, first up, we have Poets. Do You Know Where Your Children Are?
Yay, original then.
Pick with Love Never Felt So Good. Pick or kick?
So I have to pick one to keep and one to kick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So I will keep Love Never Felt So Good and I'll kick
Okay.
Do You Know Where Your Children Are back to the vault.
Okay. Next,
It's Charlotte's turn.
I've got Slave to the Rhythm. Oh, I wonder what this will be. And Escape.
So
Pick Slave to the Rhythm. Goodbye. Pick Escape. No time for you.
can I just ask, was the tearing between words artistic or just
It was me doing it 5 minutes before this episode began.
I just noticed how like
A Place with No Name
right.
and Chicago. Pick
Right.
one.
I am gonna pick. Oh, this is hard.
That's a hard one. That's a very hard one.
I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Chicago. I'm gonna keep it.
Okay, I agree with that.
I'm really shocked in myself because I love A Place with No Name, but I'm just singing the songs in my head and just the passion in Michael's voice when he's
Yeah.
singing about this heifer that he's like, she lied to me. What is it? She lied to you. She lied to me, and it's like
Yeah.
he's going in. It's like and the lyrics like when he says. she tried to live a double life, loving me while she was still your
She's
wife.
still
I'm
your
like,
wife.
this is so good. This is so good. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, I think that was the right choice.
Good.
That leaves me with Blue Gangster and Loving You.
What you picking and kicking
I have to pick Loving You
to keep?
to keep.
Good.
And I
Because you
have to
like
keep
that.
Blue Gangster.
Yeah, but you like the remix of Blue Gangster, so kick that shit.
Right, well, we've got 4 left. So I'm going to put them back in and let's get to an ultimate. Escape or Chicago.
I love your own amusement in that.
I'm like, this is looking pretty poor.
um, I'm going to pick Escape purely because, as I said previously, it's quintessential MJ. It's got that beat. It's familiar. It's I love Chicago, but where would Chicago have fit if not for like it wouldn't have fit on Invincible, but Escape does. So I'm gonna pick Escape to keep.
Okay, right. Well, that leaves me with Loving You and
Right.
Love Never Felt So Good. I think I'm going to choose Love Never Felt So Good.
You what? Over loving you.
I think so. I think so. Just as I said, nostalgia purposes, I would get up and dance to that. I feel like most people would get up and dance to that.
Yeah.
So, penultimate then, Escape and Love Never Felt So Good. Pick one and kick one.
I would keep Escape and boot Love No Felt So Good.
I'm the opposite.
Well then well then it's down to you guys
Yeah,
because
yeah. Let's
we're
see what you
stuck.
all think.
Because for me, like I could just hear Escape live. You know, like when Jean-Marie Horvat says at the beginning, "Open up six, he's gone." I could just see like a spotlight scanning the O2 and have like Michael run up the aisle at the middle, like to a searchlight with a dance,
Oh,
dance, dance, dance. Like have people coming down ropes from helicopters looking for him. Oh, like the performance value of it. Whereas Love Never Felt So Good is cute, but it's like, baby.
no, I feel like
Nothing else
especially
there, it's something.
the remix, I can see Michael jumping, I can see him smiling, giving it baby. I just love it. I love that. I think Love Never Felt So Good to me is a very happy song.
Okay, so we are split. We need to know, what do you prefer, Escape or Love Never Felt So Good remix?
I'm talking Justin Timberlake version.
She's talking Justin Timberlake, which thanks for making it easy for us. Uh, so let us know which one you're voting for and why it's Escape.
And what did you guys think of Escape? Did you like the way it was marketed? Did you like the promo? Did you like the hologram? Prove us wrong.
Thanks for watching this episode, and I hope you've enjoyed the first of many to come. Check out our next episode, which is where I take a visit to Glasgow to see Shah in person and find out where Michael performed on the Dangerous Tour. See you then.
Bye. Well, that went well.
I think it did as well.